eye-catchers that we've noticed over the last week or so in terms of these are the horses really that should be back next time. And I've got two. One actually run today, and I looked at the form actually. I don't know if you had a chance to look at Padge today.
Yeah, I watched the replay.
Yeah, and this horse finished in a Fairyhouse point-to-point event, and it beat Very Wood, who won to Cheltenham, and Mountain Tunes, which I think was one of the horses that AP McCoy got his not one of the horses, the horse that he got his 4,000th win on. So the form, looking through the collateral form, you're going to get no better than that. And I felt today that Paul Maloney, I don't know what he was doing. I mean, he was putting a cart two out. The front two quickened away. That's a very nice opening Ffos Las race, that maiden, and the winner and Fletcher's Flyer, no doubt will be winning races. There was a nice little bumper win at the end as well for Rebecca Curtis. The other one I wanted to throw in is Knock House, who for first time over fences, I mean, Fakenham is quite tricky, not the fences itself, but the turns and twists. Never put a foot wrong, and Mick Shannon, obviously under the guideship, no doubt, of Henrietta Knight, has got a very good horse on his hands there, Knock House. I know it was finished well behind Faheen, but I think only a 5-year-old as well. I think Knock House is a horse to follow over the bigger obstacles. So two for me. One is Padge. We'll probably see him go over hurdles. There was a degree of one of the two professionals there saying it was a bit fat, a bit like me, so there's obviously going to be some fat taken off that and a bit of meat put to the bone, and I think that one was maybe needed, but it ran on, almost caught up on the line. And the other one for me over the week was Knock House. So Knock House and Padge for me. In terms of the two that you've got there that you like, Present View.
Yeah, Present View's the first one I like. Very progressive last year over fences for trainer Jamie Snowden. We've seen this horse come back in a novice hurdle. The winner of Paul Nicholls' Vincent, I think it's pronounced, was second, of course, last Saturday in the Persian... Pezenti, sorry. Pezenti is the second in the Persian War on Saturday, which I really do think that's going to be red-hot form this year. Present View over hurdles was second. It's got a handicap mark over hurdles of 140. Nice length gap back to the third horse, and then before that was a Cheltenham Festival winner, beaten at a glance. I spoke to Jamie Snowden earlier on this morning just to see where the horse was likely to go. I thought he might be tempted to go back over hurdles given the fact he was in a bit lighter there, but no, he's going to go for the Paddy Power Gold Cup, and I think I understand why he's going to go.
He was only a 6-year-old, so got so much scope, I would imagine.
Yeah, it has. And if you look, he beat At a Glance in that race in the Cheltenham Festival. At a Glance was fourth in last year's Paddy Gold Cup, so off level when it. So I did have a quick look before I come on, and I thought, oh, I can understand why, because Present View would be very competitive on those form lines in a race like this. I think the description of soft probably doesn't want to be, and by presenting, I think no worse than good to soft to be at his best. I've got in my handicap mark 158 over both disciplines, who's got 140 over hurdles, so I'm suggesting he's got £18 there, and he's got a stone in hand of his chase mark. A stone in the Paddy Power Gold Cup may not be enough for the horse, but he will have an option to switch back at some point over hurdles, and for me that 140 mark will be very interested indeed. The other horse ran at Chepstow on Saturday was Shalford of Dan Skelton, a trainer I like a lot. He's only been on the
John Ox, I think, the horse.
Really?
Yeah, back in the flat days. Yeah, I'm pretty certain.
Really, yeah, it was very useful in the flat, actually.
Yeah.
He got up to marks of 90. Seen it last time. I was really impressed stepping up into Grade 3 company last time, obviously after a low weight of 127. You look through the form, Busson was in second, Ville Rouge was in third, who gave £4 to Gran Le Victor in a Cheltenham race. To beat that 4 lengths, admittedly getting Regal Encore was back and forth, 11 lengths back from that. I'm pretty sure this horse's life in handicaps is now over from winning that race, but I don't particularly see him as that. I think this horse might be targeted at something like the Challow Hurdle at Newbury, and perhaps more interestingly at some race next year at Cheltenham. I do think probably flat tracks will be against him, looking at his running styles at Chepstow. He seems to like the undulation, he seems to come off it but keep on finding a long way from home, but under a real capable, we keep on calling it a young rocket, a young rocket, yeah, young rocket, yeah, rookie trainer Dan Skelton, but he's a trainer I've been following him closely since his training career. Obviously, coming from Paul Nicholls, that would have been a great education down there, and I'm sure he's going to be very successful in this at Shelford. It'd be interesting to see. I personally, on his performance he gave last Saturday at Chepstow, easily ran for me in the 140 marks. So any more improvement would see him very competitive in some interesting races later in the season. That's Shelford.
Okay, so they're the 4 to follow: Present View, Shelford, Knockhouse, and a hurdler that run today, Page.